My name is Adam Pfau. I grew up in Long Island, New York, and I'm going to talk a little bit how I got into fitness, where it all started. Pretty much when I was 15, I wanted to be in good shape, but I was a little embarrassed to actually admit that I wanted to be in good shape. So without telling anyone, I kind of secretly, in my room when no one was looking, I would do push-ups here and there, I would do sit-ups, basically anything just to try to build some muscle. But like I said, I didn't really want to tell anyone that I wanted to get in good shape. It's thinking about it now, it sounds ridiculous, but I guess I was a little embarrassed to admit that I wasn't happy with my current physique and I wanted to improve it. So while I was in high school in 10th grade, my mom approached me. I used to play baseball, but I wasn't playing baseball at this point. I wasn't doing any physical activity. So she thought it would be a good idea for me to join a gym with a friend. And as soon as she said that, I was very happy because now I had an excuse to join a gym, which is secretly what I wanted to do. But I could blame my mom saying, oh, well, she told me to do it. So that's what I did. I joined Bev Francis Powerhouse Gym when I was 15. This was back in 2005, and it's still the same gym that I go to today, so it's been nearly 12 years. And that's where it all took off. So I mean, I was a 15-year-old, I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was dedicated, I was lifting consistently. I did as much research as possible. When I wasn't in the gym, I was basically sitting at my computer, Googling the best diets, the best routine, and I was constantly experimenting, trying to figure out what to do in order to gain muscle, lose fat. And it was very frustrating. I saw a lot of conflicting information out there, and it did take me a while before I really, I guess you could say, hit my stride and really started to make progress. 4 years into it, it was 2009. I had a decent amount of muscle by then, and I just wanted to get leaner. So I started dieting. I was getting leaner, and my friend told me, he's like, why don't you do a competition? And I had no interest in ever doing bodybuilding. I didn't consider myself a bodybuilder at all. Putting a Speedo on, putting a fake tan and getting on stage was not something that seemed interesting to me. And I kind of turned it down, but I was still getting leaner and leaner, and I looked to be pretty close into contest shape. So I'm like, you know what, let's just do it. I signed up for a competition in June of 2010. It was an INBF show, an all-natural tested organization. It was called the Natural Connecticut. I did pretty well, actually. I believe I came in 3rd place in the overall, which was, at the time I was 20 years old. I won the junior division, and the judges gave me excellent feedback. One of the judges actually told me I looked like a mini Evanson DePani, who just so happened to be my favorite bodybuilder. So between that, I was hooked. They told me one thing to improve was my lats. So I was literally in the gym the very next day, blasting my lats, trying to get them to grow as much as possible, because like I said, once you step on stage the first time, the competitive atmosphere, it's pretty addicting, and I really wanted to do it again. So my goal that year in 2010 was basically to do the exact same show in 2011. So that year, I worked harder than I ever did. I put on a decent amount of muscle, and that is what I did. I did the same show the following year in 2011. It got more competitors that time. I did actually make improvements. I did look better than I did the first time. My placement was actually a little bit lower, but that wasn't because I looked worse or I did worse. It was really more of the people that happened to show up that day. Did another show 2 weeks after that one, and that was probably the worst experience I had, despite actually looking the best I ever did. I felt like I got overlooked by the judges. My placing wasn't that great. And after that show in 2011, I kind of told myself that I'm going to stop competing. I don't want to compete again. I'm going to focus on other areas of my life. I graduated college. I need to get a job. I need to focus on a career, and I can't be worried about this bodybuilding stuff. So from 2011 to 2015, I had no competition plans. Still worked out and dieted as I always did. I never stopped doing that, but I just didn't decide to step on stage. So outside the gym, I graduated college. I got a job working for an insurance company, and eventually decided to go to law school, which is where I currently am right now. In 2015, while I was in law school, I don't know, I just suddenly got the urge to compete again, and I stepped on stage at a show also in Connecticut, different show, but also in Connecticut. and I ended up winning the whole show. It was the best I ever looked. I became a WNBF natural pro by winning that overall show. So yes, now I am technically a natural bodybuilder. So I never planned to compete, I never planned any of this to happen. I always just joined the gym because I wanted to be in good shape, and it's still really what I do. I enjoy being in good shape, and I just enjoy the lifestyle in general. Competing is kind of just like a byproduct of it. If I'm already in shape, sometimes it's nice to have that little competitive atmosphere. It's always nice when you go to a show, meeting like-minded people who have the same goals as you, since it could be a little isolating sometimes in your everyday life when no one else is really into bodybuilding, no one really knows what you go through. So you go backstage and you're talking to like 50 people who know exactly what you're going through. It's very interesting, and it is a fun experience. So going forward, people always ask, will I compete again? And my answer is I don't plan to, but that's also what I said in 2011, and I ended up competing and winning a pro card. So probably, maybe one day I will, but at the moment, I don't plan to compete in the near future. Outside the gym, I'm a huge baseball fan. I'm a Yankee fan. People don't really know that about me, but I'm like pretty much obsessed with baseball. I could pretty much tell you any statistic of any player on any team, and that really stems from just following baseball my whole life, always playing fantasy baseball growing up, playing baseball a little bit, so baseball is my favorite sport, I would say. So overall, when my mom had me join the gym at 15, she didn't realize what she was creating at the time. She probably regretted at some point that she turned a 15-year-old high school kid into a bodybuilder, but I think she's accepted it now. And if it wasn't for her forcing me to join the gym, I might have ended up finding something else, and who knows where the fitness journey would have ended up. But that's basically my story. I'm happy with where I ended up. Made a lot of mistakes in fitness along the way, but also learned a lot as well. And I like helping people who are in my position now, because I know exactly how it feels when you just get into fitness. There's so much conflicting information out there, people trying to sell you things, you have absolutely no idea what to believe. So that's why I always try to help as many people as I can to really steer them in the right direction so they could avoid the mistakes that I made and reach their fitness goals sooner.